students, let's begin with the second chapter from your economics book of grade 10, and the name of the chapter is land. In the previous chapter we have already came across the factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, and there I have explained you land is a passive factor of production. Why passive? Because it cannot produce anything by its own, so we are saying it is a passive factor. So beginning of the chapter, here they're explaining us what is the meaning of the term land in economics. In economics we can say whatever is available free of cost from nature, as a gift we get from the nature. It is a gift to the human beings. This is called land. Not only the surface we are working on, actually the resources, the minerals, the water, maybe forest, everything is coming under the concept of land in economics. Okay, so what are the characteristics of land? And it is a very important question for your board exams. It have been repeated many a times. What are the characteristics of land? So the first characteristic they are saying, free gift of nature. The nature have gifted a piece of land or maybe the entire land to the human beings just for free. Nature is never charging us that you are building a house or so and so place, or maybe you're constructing something, you have to pay me money. No, nature never takes money. There is no agent for nature. We cannot go and pay nature, but as it is getting transferred from one human being to another human being, they are charging. Nature is not charging. If I am selling a plot to my neighbor, I am charging my neighbor. I am charging, not the nature. Okay, so it is being said as free gift of nature. Supply of land is fixed. The quantity of land which is provided by the nature, human beings cannot pull it like a elastic and make it big, right? So the supply of land is fixed in earth. Next, number 3 is difference in fertility. Difference in fertility means all lands are not equally fertile. If we take an example of our area, so we can plant, we can cultivate, we can do agriculture here, but if we go to Rajasthan, that is there also it is land, but it is full of sand, right? So the fertility is changing. Land itself is having so many varieties. They are saying now fourth point is indestructibility of land. Land is an indestructible factor of production. Man can only change the shape of a particular location and composition of its element, but as to an as such, land cannot be destroyed. It can either be converted into a green, or to a forest, or to an artificial lake. Did you understand the meaning? That means human beings can only change its form. We are just building something and changing it, but the land is not destructed, it's not totally destroyed. Okay, you can dig a piece of land and make some well, but the surrounding land is already present there. You cannot totally make that piece of land disappear, right? Next, they are saying immobility. What is the meaning of mobility? I am explaining you from the previous chapter. Mobility means movable. The things which are movable, like our mobile phone. That means phone is mobile. We are roaming around with our mobile phone. So they are saying immobility. Land, a piece of land cannot be carried from one area to another, one location to another. You cannot do that. So land is immobile by its nature. Land is a primary factor of production. The first point of factors of production, if you remember, was land. That is what we were discussing. Next, passive factor of production. Beginning of this video, I have told you what is the meaning of passive factor. It cannot produce anything by its own. Next is effect of laws of return. Effect of laws of return. Such land is a fixed factor of production. The law of return is more efficiently applicable on it. Increasing use of capital and labor on particular plot of land leads to increase in crop production, right? So if you do much more effort to on a piece of land, then that land will also give you in return. So it is laws of return. So if you are working hard, you will get something in return, and if you don't work hard, like in the exams, right, if you work hard you get good marks, that is a return, and if you don't study you get bad marks, that is the return. So number 9, or point number 9, they're explaining alternative uses of land. This means piece of land is given by the nature, but it is being used. The users are using it in a different ways, in different manners. Somebody is building a house, somebody building a factory, somebody building a shop, somebody building a school, depends upon themselves, or maybe somebody is making it a garden, right? So alternative uses of land is there. Land is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means two pieces of land are not exactly the same. Okay, there is, as I was telling you, we have land over here also, we have land in Rajasthan also, in Jammu and Kashmir also, in Uttarakhand also. You can see the land is changing its form. Like for example, here we are having soil. If you go to Rajasthan, you're having sand. If you go to Jammu and Kashmir, you will find snow and rocks there, a little bit of sand there. And if you go to Uttarakhand, the rocky soil you will find there. So it is changing, right? It is changing. It is heterogeneous. It is changing its components. Next we are having factors of land. Factors of land, here they are saying are what are the, sorry, functions of land, they are here trying to say are what are the different kind of functions that are carried over in land. You can write this by yourself, that is primary occupation. Primary occupations are like agriculture, dairy, farm, then forest area, then fishery. All these are done in the land. Nobody can do it in the sky or underwater, right? So this have to be done. The primary occupation activities are done on land. Next we are having a basis of industries. Manufacturing industries get diverse type of raw materials. Okay, raw materials from land. For example, sugarcane, cotton, all these are grown in the land, and from there itself they are getting, the industries are getting their raw materials from the nature. Next we are having basis of power. Basis of power means different kind of powers can be made with the use of the resources from the nature itself, like the solar energy, like the wind energy, like the hydroelectricity, like thermal power. All this can be utilized and generate power from this kind of resources available in the nature free of cost. Next we are having basis of employment. Now as India is a underdeveloped country, and India is a developing, in under the section of developing country, we are having our populations, 2/3 of the population is engaged in agriculture. So what they are doing is getting work, getting employed, as because the land is being cultivated, the population is getting employed. Next we are having basis of transport. We are having different kind of transport by using this land, like the airways, like the railways, like the waterways, roadways, everything. We are getting a transport. Importance of modes of transport are being, they are also using this piece of land. For example, you can say the airways is not using, the railways is using the air. No, we are having an airport. Not only that, before the plane is going to take off, they are using the runway, that is also on the land, right? They're landing also on the land, in the air. So entire 24/7 they're not living, not going in the air itself, they have to come down once also. So it is a basis of transport. Basis of trade. Basis of trade means products of the land are traded, means within a country whatever is being produced is traded to the other nations or the other foreign countries, okay, and they are earning profit. So it is trade basis. Also trade means business. Basis of economic growth. Natural resources of that is land play an important role in the economic development of a country. For example, in the Gulf countries they are having oil. Oil is a natural resource, and from there they are earning money, so it is having lots of economic growth. For example, if you go to South Africa, diamonds and golds are there. Okay, next we are having basis of life. Land provides food, raw materials, and shelter to us. We reside on land. If a piece of land is not there, right? If we divide the earth into four parts, we are having only one part. One fourth is land. So if that is also not there, then all the living beings will not exist.